Alright, hello all, welcome back to another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video here. So, we're going to be doing another stacking defense video. And this time around, we're going to be doing LR, Kale, and Caulifa. Now, this character, just out of the way now, had, if you were there, right, you know how underwhelming their EZA was. Dokkan went out of their way to sabotage this character, barely gave them anything at all just because of how dominant they were back in the past. Now that being said, I do think we could get them to look pretty good here. Also, you'll notice mine is not rainbow. I have them at 69%. So, I mean, that is also going to play in to it a little bit. But more or less, I mean, I do have defense equips on here too, so they're going to look pretty good, I think. We'll see though. Now, the one thing that's like really annoying about them is this part of their passive, the extra attack and defense, as well as the additional, is only able to be procced under 66% HP. I mean, that is determined at the start of the turn, so if we are able to somehow get that, that would be pretty nice. But I don't know if we are going to be able to. We'll see. Now, to compensate, I do feel like we have a fair amount of, potential to buff them. I mean, we got 60% support from her, right? As well, of course, Roshi. Not only do we have his 50% support, but we do also have his 30%, which is a different phase, so it'll be pretty helpful, pretty nice, whatever term you want to use. But yeah, without further ado, let's just jump right in. We'll do a couple turns as per usual, and then we'll come back around and see. Oh, wow, that's not I thought I'd have more HP than that. I mean, I know I'm rocking some free-to-play characters here, but Jesus. I mean, obviously Roshi's not on Jiren, and Jiren's not on Roshi's, but still, I thought we'd have some more HP. I may have to come back around and, throw on, like, MUI or something. We'll see. Now, normally, I would just say, oh, that's annoying. Let me just exit out and restart. And what I'm referring to is, quite simply, they're in slot 7. Now, that being said, Roshi is actually kind of a pain in the ass to find on the friends list. Which is why I'm seeing the HP has me a little bit worried. But that being said, I think what I'll actually do here is I'll just cut now, and I'll come back once we get Kale and Caulifa on rotation, because I do not want to risk having to... I mean, it actually took me like 15 minutes of re-rolling the Whis event just to find that Roshi, so yeah, we'll be right back. Alright, so we are back here on turn 3. And this is what we're starting off at. 243,000 started turn here. Now, we are above the threshold, so that is without considering the 66% buff. Once again, I don't know if we're even... Like, for example, I mean, if we look at our items here, I mean, I do have the Android 8. Now, to be fair, once again, it is the start of turn when that is calculated. So if we were under the threshold, we could heal and still keep the buff, as well as have the defensive buff from the item. But that being said, it's just, I don't know if, once we get later on, because a lot of these characters are stacking characters. AGL, Jiren here and Strength Roshi, I mean, they're only on half a leader skill, so they could potentially take damage, but it's not. I'm not going to go out of my way to try and force it. For either, especially Roshi, because if I do, and then, you know, I'm on like turn 80 and I just like absolutely get walloped by like a super. That'd be quite unfortunate. So, I mean, we'll see what happens, right? But we're gonna start in here. Now we do have two of our defensive links that we're gonna have. Warriors Unit 6, so 6%. Tournament Power 7%. We could also have prepared for battle. Kale and Caulifa have that. I might try and take advantage of them later on, but I do actually think instead of the 5%, 60% support from this Kale might be better. We'll see what happens later on though. But yeah, let's play this first turn out. Hopefully we can get a decent amount of supers here. We shall see. I do think they can do, isn't it like 3 a turn? They can potentially do. See, the thing with them is it's really like gated. One of their supers, I think they have a guaranteed super against a Universe Survival Saga or Pure Saiyan enemy, and they also have the additional that has a great chance of killing a super when they're under their HP threshold. So it's like they can do a lot of supers, but it's very, very gated. They went out of their way to do that. Okay, so we're only getting 2 here. Unfortunate. They should still be able to be good though. I mean, it depends, right? But I do think they will be able to cook. Now, a good thing, just from my point of view here, of rocking a team like this, is quite simply, you know, I'm gonna be able to move fairly quickly through this event, considering a lot of these characters are like free to play. You know, have like bad animations, right? So we're able to move through them pretty quick. I don't know what to do. See, this is the thing with Roshi, though. He's not gonna have like key as we go through here. Damn. I might like I have him here for now, but I might even like when we come back around be like, you know, hey guys, I couldn't find another Roshi, and Roshi wasn't working out. Hopefully that isn't the case, but it may very well be. I unless I can like figure something out for him, but like I don't. Consistent. I'll have to try it and be really good with the orbs, but like I don't know if I can consistently get him 9 orbs every time he comes up. Because I mean that's what he needs, or at least like a bunch of strength orbs. He's a very, very, very good support. I mean the 30% active skill phase is incredible, and I mean, quite honestly, I mean, usually I would like to, you know, like Strength Bulma or AGL Gohan would be my picks here, but I just can't take advantage on this team. So, you know, and that's why I'm trying to take advantage of Roshi, but oh my god, really? Oh god. Yeah, don't be surprised if we come back around and it's just the team is just like completely different. Okay, so we're at 478,000 here. I mean, we got what, like a 230,000 increase between the 2 supers. So I mean, they can stack up pretty well. But we'll see how this goes as we go through here, right? We'll make this the last turn though. I mean, we got like 230,000 from like 2 supers, so I mean that'll be a pretty good judge, I feel, of while we're moving through here, what we're going to be looking at. She'll be fine, right? Hopefully. I do think that they can look pretty good if, under the circumstance that Roshi is buffing them, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. The only thing I can think of for like making sure I can actually run Roshi, which I don't really like the idea of doing. 1, really? Okay, there we go. At least we got the additional super. What I could potentially do, which I don't really like feel right about doing, is not run them on a 200%. To get Roshi on the 170. I mean, Roshi's buff, quite frankly, will be stronger then like the extra 30%. So, I mean, if I have to go that route, I may. We'll see. It sort of depends on, you know, when I'm dying, if I'm dying, stuff like that. But I mean, the issue for me really is Kale and Caulifa have 6 200% leads. Jiren, Super Saiyan 4 Goku, Super Saiyan Goku and Vegeta, which were made on release. Strength Roshi, Android 17 and 18, and AGL Kale. Now, of those characters, the only 3 I have are the LRs. So, I mean, that's why we're running the Jiren sort of setup here. Otherwise, AGL KO would be pretty nice, but not too much I can do about not having the character, right? But yeah. So, there we go. That's a couple turns here. We'll come back around later on. We'll see just how tanky they can get. Hopefully, I'm able to keep the Strength Roshi sort of setup going. But I will note, he took like 230,000 from a normal, and that's with the damage reaction up. So I don't... He does get a ton of his defense from, supering, to be fair. But it's just, I don't know if I might have to run like the 170. I don't know. We'll see what I end up doing. I do think if I have to choose between the two, I might try and run a 170 as my leader, and keep Roshi as the 200%. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll be back though. Regardless, we'll figure it out together, right? But yeah. I think I should be able to, by the way, get pretty deep in here, obviously, we shouldn't do too much damage with this setup, but we'll see if I have to change my setup. But yeah, we'll be back. We'll see just how tanky they can get. Alright, hello everyone. We are back. Turn 97. I'm just saying this right here. I'll also say in the description. I'm getting this out like half a day, maybe even more, later than anticipated. This was actually one of the most challenging ones, I will say. Now, I was able to actually figure something out to rock a full 200% for them. Obviously, we do have a different team here. But the AGL, Kale and Caulifa, they are on in Super Saiyan 4, as well as Master Roshi's 200%, and then now we just got a bunch of Gokus here. So, that being said, this, I swear, it got to the point where I would do, I was having to do, like, 10 Whis event runs, which is 300 stamina, to get a Master Roshi on my friends list for the battle. And then, after the first, 10 or so turns, I was pretty safe. I did end up dying one time because of my own fault. Because I actually started recording this like a day and a half ago or something. And I was in bed, I had just woken up, and I accidentally collected orbs on turn 70 with Strength Super Saiyan 3 Goku in slot 1, and I just got supered from Rose, which was my own fault. But every other time I've consistently, I say every other time, but the couple of times that I did get past turn 10, I was able to, this time and the time before, I was able to get, far in, right? It's just those, first 10 turns when, Kale and Caulifa are both of them are just very spotty. I've also had some issues with this guy, regrettably. Every time Rose supers him, I already have type advantage, but the guard's up conveniently. Inconveniently, every time Zamasu supers him, it's not, and we're taking 400,000 there. There was one other time I got past that time of the sort of turn 10. And I went from this guy getting supered into Roshi getting supered by AGL Rose, and just awful luck. And once again, like 10 Wii's events just to get this guy to pop up on the friends list. And if I died, I'd have to run it all over again. So I actually ended up having to. I wasted so many stamina items. I got to the point where I actually had to end up waiting for stamina to continue trying to do this. So this one probably is overall taking the longest to record. But that all out of the way. We're at 6.4 here. Mil. Now, once again, mine is only 69%. I mean, you could say, oh, well, that's technically not the complete full max potential, whatever. But, I mean, we're probably going to see, like, a decent portion of what this character could do here. And plus, this character was requested. And it kind of can't run them as a friendly, right? So, this is what we're making do with. But that being said, we have gotten quite a few numbers of supers here. 84. Although, to be fair, I do think that is somewhat... I would have liked to get more, right? But all that being said, we do have the sort of god rotation here. Ready? Also, I did use an Android 8 earlier. It's not active right now, though, because it shows you, like, in between super attack level and passive skill now. It's somewhere on here where you can see the item effects. It'll show once we have the others active. But I actually used that to sort of grace my way through the first 10 turns. I used it on like a double AGL Caulifa rotation on like turn 4 or something. But okay. I need to get all the... I probably actually should have pulled this up before. I just went straight into recording this because I wanted to get it done. Okay, I do need to set up all the sort of like base formula with everything real quick though. So I'll actually just cut away. It'll probably take me a minute or two here, and let me just focus on getting that, and then we'll be right back. Okay, here we go. I do have the sort of base formula here, calced together, whatever, set up. So we on the formula here are at 6,433,063. In game, we're at 6,433,038. I do like to make sure to note it's like decimal rounding error, etc. All the math is like 1-to-1 as far as I can tell, but it's got to be something like you know, maybe the super stack is not worth 0.3, it's worth 0.30001 or some shit like that, right? It's not... It's just like the ones and tens place, and sometimes we've had even up to the hundreds place that is skewed. But the millions, you know, 100,000, 10,000, 1,000, etc. It has always been perfectly good. This is correct. So that being said, we are ready. Now, from the links here, I did mention this before, but Warriors of Universe 6, that's 6%. Prepared for Battle, we got 5%. Tournament of Power, that's 7%. So in total, we're at 18% defense from links, which is pretty decent, I would say. But yeah. Which order should I... Now, unfortunately, obviously, I do want to make a point of this, too. Again, we don't have this active. This is a really stupid fucking ability. Only 66% or less HP. I mean, that is a pretty sizable stat boost in the additional. I mean, they'd look quite a substantial bit better if you could just have that up consistently. But you can't because they gimped out on their EZA purposefully. Hopefully, they don't do that shit with Super EZA. Because there were times, several times, where it's like, you know, Int Gohan or something, he gets his EZA and they're like, we're like, oh, all he needs is defense. And then Dokkan literally went out of their way and they gave him, I forget exactly, but they're like, oh yeah, he gets 5% more defense per orbit or some shit like that. Like, they have gone out of their way to sabotage characters before. Kale and Caulifa were a victim, but I do think that they'll look pretty decent here. But yeah, I guess we'll just start off with popping Roshi's active. I feel like that's a good place to start. Now, Roshi's active is so insane. I don't have my own Roshi, but if, well, when, I guess, I do get him, I do expect to see him for as many of these as he sort of like leads for, because this active is so absurd. So I mean, after the 5th turn from the start of battle, you can just use it whenever. 30%. I mean, the key 3 is cool, but 30% attack and defense. It's so massive. It's hard to like just say, you know, without. It's like, okay, here, let me show it this way. Active skill phase, right? We add this in 1.3, so we go for 6,433,063, straight up to 8,362,982, just from doing that. Now in game, more or less the same here. So I mean that's just Roshi's active, and I mean we're getting an extra few some odd mil defense, right? I mean that's pretty good, I would say, and obviously that does directly scale if we had a lot more defense. Roshi does also give us 50% support, so that is pretty nice. But yeah, we can get to using this item, so Monster Carrot. Now Monster Carrot is obviously a pretty good item. I do use this one quite a bit in these. So I use this, and the whole orb field is now carrots. We're getting 15%, right? Yeah. Per key sphere, 23 of these. So we collect these, and then we that is 345%, but on here it's represented as 4.45 on screen. Okay. Yeah, so that threw me off for a moment. Currently, we definitely jumped up quite a bit. We're up to 37,215,184. I mean, from 8 mil, I'd say that's pretty good. Now, lastly, we do have Android 8 Puck, which is another 50% defense from the item phase, which isn't going to look like as much since we have so much buffs here already now. But from there, we do jump up to 41 mil, 396,761 on the formula, and add in-game here 41 mil, 396,648. So I mean it's the 100 places off too, but once again, I mean it's accurate from that point on, right? Yes. Okay. So now that being said, I mean, there's not too much actually extra to see for these two. We can calculate the defense we get on the supers within this turn, potentially even super. And I mean, that'll be about it. They don't have like any phase 2 buffs or anything like that. I mean, just point blank, not as strong as any of the other, not even close to any of the other characters we've done so far. But this is the old EZA at this point. They were sabotaged on EZA. Mine's only 69%. Like, there's a lot of factors here. But, I mean, still getting them up to... So that's one super. Right, let's add this in. So 26.5. Did they... Oh, shit. Wait. Did they do 2 supers? Hold on, I actually need to... I saw the very end of the animation while I was typing the number, and that went pretty quick. Which of these... I believe one of these sites does show... I do need to just check real quick. Hold on, let me pause. Okay, I actually just decided to reset the turn just to double check. Because, I mean, I don't use this unit enough to remember what the very end of the SA asset looks like, and that's all I saw. So I just wanted to double check. But I mean, yeah, we only did get the 1 super here. I mean, we do jump up to at the end here, 41 mil, 870,669, which is definitely something. But I mean, that just goes to show. I mean, I feel like getting 1 super there is like the perfect sort of way to close this out. They were really gimped on their easy. I mean, Dokkan has done that several times for characters. You know, I did say Gohan as well. I mean, there's a lot of other characters You know, there's a lot of examples. You know, like Tech VV. I'm just naming some that like stand out to me from history. You know, Strength Rose. I mean, there's just some characters that were so dominant on release or whatever, and on ECA, Dokkan just said, fuck it. Now, I would say that this year, the EZAs are the strongest they've ever been, and all the Super EZAs. I mean, Goku Black had a pretty short lifespan. I mean, you can still get some use out of him, but he had a, comparatively to the others, a shorter lifespan. I'd say AGL Dragon Fist too. But that isn't. It's not that they were gimped. I wouldn't say. You know, like held out on whatever term you want to use. Where you could tell they did that in the past. I mean, I would say every character besides like Int Broly, AGL Bardock, and like Strength Super Vegeta, I would say had good ease. Every character besides those three, I would say had good easy ace this year. So hopefully when, you know, something like Kale and Caulifa here do super ECA, we can actually see them looking pretty damn good. But who knows? I mean, that's probably years off we're talking. But yeah, we can end this one here then. That's them done. Nowhere near as impressive as some of the others we've done so far. Is what it is. Kind of expected it. But it was requested. I did want to get it done. So yeah. Next week and the week after, we will do the 7th year anniversary LRs. I do want to get a sort of before for the defense. I did an offense version of them already for before. But I do want to get a defensive before video in for them too. Because their EZA is coming, and I expect it to be, you know, amazing, to say the least. But yeah, we'll end this one here. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Take care.